out of order. With the pledge of allegiance first. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, here.
Chris Buckman.
Here.
Carol Hadwin.
Here.
Larry Mangan.
Here.
Jason Newberry.
Here.
Deanna Garver.
Here.
Tom Henning.
Here.
Pat Zika.
Move to adopt the agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded to adopt the agenda. All in favor, say aye. Raise your hand.
Aye.
Then patrons. Okay, now we'll discuss the reopening plan.
Yes, so we had a big meeting today. I appreciate Pat coming with me to that meeting. So she could hear firsthand what the health department had to say for our students this year. They recommended that there's a little bit of an uptick in COVID cases, and so they are recommending that we follow our hybrid schedule that we have put together for the first 2 weeks of school. So that would be September 8th through the 18th, and then we would reevaluate that second week. The district is planning to, and Shelby and I have put this together, the district is planning to put out a communication every Wednesday throughout the school year, regardless of, even if we decide that we're in something for a month, we're still going to send a communication out every Wednesday consecutively to let our families know where we're at and what our plans are, and obviously what schedule we're in and what it looks like. And we will continue to work with the health department on that to make sure that we are trying to be good stewards while our nation fights this disease. So so their recommendation was that we do follow a hybrid schedule for the first 2 weeks of school. The first week of school, because it is a 4-day week, we do have in the reopening plan that would be a full week of school. We would not have the Wednesday off day. We would have, or not off day, I'm sorry, remote day. We would have 4 full days there anytime there's a 4-day week. And then the second week, obviously, we'd be in hybrid again. And then we would continue to release statements this first couple weeks of school on Wednesday as reminders to everybody where we're at, and continue to work with the health department. The other thing, Mr. Smith is here this evening. We did talk to the health department today about our activities. As you know, he has been leading his coaches into practices these last weeks, and everything seems to be going well as far as following health guidelines with our student athletes. And so we talked to the health department today as well about supporting our fans that obviously want to come see their children play and families. And one of the things the league did this week is they came out with a recommendation for all crowds to be limited to 25% capacity. And in order for us to do that, we are recommending that Mr. Smith is able to give 2 tickets to each student athlete or participant in an activity, and then that student athlete would be able to give that to whoever, whatever the family could decide who got those 2 tickets for that particular activity.
Then I guess that mathematically works into your 25%.
Yep. We actually,
Both the football and the
Football and volleyball are the 2 that we would have capacity issues in.
okay.
so yes, we sat down and did the numbers, and that obviously includes the visiting team and supporting their parents as well. It also includes the parent or the players themselves, so it'd be 25% capacity altogether.
Okay.
Include the band.
Include the band, include cheerleaders, yep.
Dancers.
They would all get 2 tickets as well, so that they could be supported by somebody.
So out of town people, usually they bring the cheerleaders and the team and then parents, spectators,
Yes.
which is fewer tickets than we would be giving out. So that's all included, or are there going to be some overflow tickets that could go our way?
Right now we're looking at 2 per person, especially with we're using our first night as senior night, so there's already going to be extra people there because we're now on our every activity. cross country, tennis, band, cheer, dance. So all those seniors are coming with their two parents. So I can promise you for sure that first
Yeah.
game, we won't have any
I didn't
overflow.
realize it. That's good.
We want to move it up just to make sure we honor those seniors and those parents. And again, not saying we won't get there, but you never know what could happen. Obviously, we've seen that. So we want to make sure we have that special night down at the football field for all the seniors and all the parents. So yeah, we'll be pretty limited on that. I know it's not great, but it's either that or zero. I mean, and so it's something. And again, we'll have a band, we'll have our cheer, we'll have a dance team. We'll be able to live stream the senior night ceremony and the game as well for anybody that can't be there.
Yeah, that's one thing we're working on. We're set up currently, thanks to Crusader Club, to live stream at the football stadium and to live stream at the main gym at the high school. We are working on possibly being able to do that at the middle school gyms as well, and also the high school auxiliary gym for JV games and B team games. That way, grandparents and other family members can watch their student athlete as well. If they are not one of the two that the family is able to get in. So we are working on that. It's looking like it might be a little bit later in September before we can get those in, just because of the backlog that the nation has right now for live streaming equipment. But it's looking like we should be able to support that here after a month or so. So
I'm just curious, what is capacity like the football field?
2,500
2,500
is what our number is. Again, and then the gym says 1,600, but that's on a basketball night. It's probably around 1,000. I think 1,100 maybe on a volleyball night because you're not pulling all the bleachers out. So yeah, those are the numbers we went off of. 25%, and then subtract off your teams and
Why can't we count the teams if they're not in their seating?
it's all air you're breathing. I mean, that's the policy we went with. Is it's all air, you're sharing the same air. So again, that gives us a little buffer as well.
Will that be revisited, or is this just set in stone for the entire?
Obviously, if the health department or medical professionals let us loosen up, then absolutely.
And so is that going to be revisited on?
Our plan right now is for myself to have weekly conversations with the health department. So that's going to be part of that Wednesday communication, is having a weekly communication with them.
So, and you say this was a league recommendation. So hypothetically, if the health department says, "Hey, you're good to go," does the league all have to get together, or can we say we're going to fill the stands and we don't the visitors?
It is all recommendations.
Okay.
From health department, it's recommendation.
Right.
From league, it's recommendation. Really, it comes down to you guys as a school board and all of us to make decisions for our community. So.
Yeah, some of you probably already saw our varsity volleyball team's going to Winfield Saturday, and there's 8 teams there. It's not a tournament because they're discouraging big team tournaments. So we're going to have 4 teams in Gym A and 4 teams in Gym B and no crossover. But with 8 teams there and your capacity in the gym, they're allowing no fans. So it's going to be a week-to-week, sport-to-sport type deal. Tennis tournaments, you're going to be encouraged to bring your lawn chair. And again, there's no real actual seating, but if you can sit outside around the fence and spread out with your family. Again, golf tournament, if you're in your own little golf cart, again, so there's different sports and different, again, it'll be week to week. We might go to a different town up in a different county and they could say no fans, or they could say we're full to go.
So that was Winfield's call to have no fans?
The host school is responsible for communicating. Again, they could have maybe put a few fans in there, but by the time you get 8 volleyball teams, workers, officials, I think the best they could have done possibly was 1 fan per person, and then you really get in issues if mom or dad has to choose. Mom can win, but no, I'm just kidding. So again, you don't want to put a family in that situation. So they just went with 0 to make it easy and consistent.
Why are you not allowing passes?
We're losing, obviously, if we're only allowing 70 or 25% in, we're losing 75% revenue. So it's just a chance to try and break even on a night. By the time you pay your officials, your event workers, again, not trying to lose the money.
I know we're very accustomed to everybody having a pass and being able to purchase a pass, but this year it's going to be tough financially to be able to pull that off. So we're just hoping that people will be supportive, and we at some point we can get back to normal world like everybody wants. So.
Now, that money just goes to the district. It's when you get the playoffs that you have to split it with the state.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's the total number you're figuring?
We're basing it off of, so 625 was 25%, but then you take off take off the visiting team, take off that, roughly, it depends on what team's coming, but we can't go over 450 is the number that we're looking at.
But the teams are being limited to how many kids they're bringing, right? Or not?
Depends on your transport,
Because of transportation and that, or not?
And again, if a school district wants to send 4 buses, they can. So they can bring everybody if they want. We're not going to add any buses to ours. We might have to add a few vans. We're going to try and get everybody to every game possible. We hate to not let kids be a part of something. So I worked with Heather this morning actually and looked at numbers we have out right now. And we had to add a bus. Thursdays are crazy with middle school games, and then you have high school cross country, middle school tennis. And everything's on the road, then she really gets in a bind. But we had to add 1 bus for middle school volleyball because we normally take just 1 bus, and 7th and 8th grade go together, but we need a 7th and 8th grade bus. But we've only had to add 1 bus right now. But down the road, it could become an issue. I know some districts are looking at, and I've got a document to look at for central office with parents possibly driving kids to games if needed, if they sign off. There's a waiver out there that some districts are using, but as of right now, we should be able to provide transportation for everybody to games in school, either bus or vans. And our numbers are up, which is great. All our participating numbers are up.
So you can have 450 at the football field?
That's what we can't go over. Again, it's going to give or take a little here or there. It's going to give or take a little bit here or there. If a visiting team has 80 people on their team, then they're going to get 160 tickets. If a visiting team only has 50 people on their team, they're only going to get 100 tickets. So it's going to give or take a little bit each week.
Do you get tickets?
Grandma.
Asking.
If you got a high school student or middle school student that gives you a ticket, you get a ticket.
It's gonna be a tough year for a lot of people.
You're gonna have lots of extra room though. I'm not talking about, we get a ticket, I don't care. I just
It's
think,
not room. You can only have so much,
Right,
getting
yeah.
people in because of the spacing.
the 500 people isn't even a fourth of the 2,500 that the football field holds.
Does anybody have attendance numbers of any of that track? Like, how many people?
Like game to game, what we.
Yeah, is any history?
We have
on that?
ticket numbers, but again, not everybody was paying obviously way back when.
Right.
In the playoff games, we would have obviously again they don't set passes, so we could go back and track some playoff games. The regular season games would be very, very difficult with the amount of passes we've had in the past
Right.
to know.
But if you say 2,500, how often was that actually at capacity with both?
Home side's usually pretty full.
Right.
We're planning on moving the band down to the north end zone in chairs because they need obviously 6 feet between them. The trombones need 9 feet because they get to extend. So we're planning on putting them in the north end zone in the grass north of the sidewalk and bringing chairs in for them, allowing them. So that'll open up more seating as well. Again, nobody knows. The first game definitely, again, obviously being senior night, there's going to be more people there than we would normally have anyway. But nobody knows for sure what it's going to look like. Just the math numbers, that's the numbers we have.
Are the concession stands gonna be open?
We did get approval to have concession stand. Everything needs to be packaged up. So I think they're gonna be very limited on, they're gonna obviously have drinks and candies last time I talked to them. And then they'll have like one option as a meal deal type deal because it'll be grilled and then baggaged up and sold as a meal bag. You can't buy individual things like that. But we did get approval from the health department to do that. But the popcorn, the nachos, all that open stuff, there won't be the condiment table with the 800 flies on it anymore.
Darn.
Everything will be in the bag. So ketchup, mustard, cheese would all be in the bag, sold as one unit. So, but obviously we're only having 450 fans. The booster club has to decide, which again, I talked a little with them, but we haven't gotten great detail yet. And again, if it's worth their time and effort and money to sell that, or they just want to do hop and drinks, which most of our in-school concessions will probably be limited like that, hop and drinks and water and candy and things like that.
This kind of goes along with it. I was looking in there about the renting of the buildings. I didn't see anything in there. On the
Yeah, we put a clause, Shelby,
I couldn't,
It's under mass gatherings and the health.
is it Matt gathering? Okay.
Mhm.
yeah, we put a line in there about that.
Just, yeah.
Oh,
Any other questions on Luke's side of things or health department meeting side of things? Dr. Kearns can go over a few other reopening curriculum type things.
I'm just gonna be honest, it really bothers me only 450 people confirmed.
Well, talk to the league, it's
Well,
not.
no, it's a recommendation.
It's a recommendation.
Yeah, that's a recommendation.
And if you say it's 2,500, 450 isn't,
No, it's the 625. He's talking about fans beyond the players and everything.
yeah, I think it's 450.
That's our fans. but-
Just the
so
fans.
we're-
We're part of it.
fans.
We have
After you take.
We have
all
130
students and all that.
people in band, cheer, dance, football.
So that's on top of.
Right, correct.
Yeah, okay, I misunderstood.
No, yeah, so
apologize.
625 is the total, but then you got
Yeah,
to
I'm
subtract
sorry,
off.
I misunderstood. I
Oh,
apologize for
Yeah.
That's
that.
fine.
Any questions about that? So we just need to discuss.
Dr. Kern, share
Okay,
anything?
yeah, there's, today we sent letters out to the families, to let them know their hybrid schedule. And those should get to, and that's for elementary, so those should arrive tomorrow or the next day. So what that letter basically says is if your child would come in the morning or in the afternoon for the hybrid schedule.
Secondary. I'm talking about
And
secondary.
secondary are going to put that in Infinite Campus, so they would put that in the 0 hour, whether they're coming in AM or PM. And they should be finished with that by tomorrow, so
I think a lot of
sometime
them are,
during the
a lot of
day.
students are already in there, so.
Yeah.
We'll have
Yeah.
it in by then.
Yeah, so,
Jen, so the parents are gonna get this in regular mail. Will it say anything about the 2 weeks of hybrid?
No. We're just.
We haven't voted on
we're
it.
for-
Right,
yeah.
okay, it won't.
Yeah, we wanted to get that in the mail.
Okay.
We have a communication, if you guys approve tonight what we've put together, then we'll have a communication that goes out this evening, both to district employees and also to the community.
Just so I understand, if they elected to go remote, they're still gonna be remote.
Correct, no matter what happens.
It's just the ones that elected for
In person.
in-person are now maybe going into the other,
Correct.
the yellow, okay.
Yes, that is correct.
and so, for remote, we had enough elementary students that we could use one teacher per grade level. And those teachers are gonna be, Christy Burns gonna be our kindergarten teacher for remote. Brianna Smith and Taylor Becker are gonna tag team it, so they're gonna take turns. Abby Torres is gonna do second grade. Kim Heffley's gonna do third grade for us. Esther Rump's gonna do fourth grade, and Caitlin Buck is gonna do fifth grade for the elementary. And those numbers are, we have about 5 kindergartners, 13 first graders, 21 second graders, 13 third graders, 19 fourth graders, 17 fifth graders. And at the middle school, we have 10 sixth graders, 17 seventh graders, 13 eighth graders. And at the high school, we have about 70 altogether, 17 ninth graders, 16 10th graders, 24 11th graders, and 12 12th graders. So at the secondary level, they're setting up a schedule so that students can log into Google Meet and they can see their courses live that way, and attendance will be taken that way, and they'll be able to see the classes and interact with those students. So in the case where a student would not be able to attend and we wouldn't be able to take attendance, if that student is at the doctor or whatever, then that's an excused absence. However, in the case that a student couldn't come but still wants to complete that work and watches the saved video, completes the work, then the state is requiring us to do a log of that time and the minutes that they worked on that. So when we get our state funding, we will need to have these logs in place. And that is for elementary as well. So if a student is unable to attend online with their teacher, then they would be required to do a log or they would be counted absent.
Now, will all the grade levels have interaction with their teacher every day?
Yes.
Okay, so every grade level will see their teacher every day?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that is, and that's how they set it up, unless the student or the parent contacts the teacher and says, we can't make it today, we're gonna work on our own, and then they.
So is the teacher like saying, this is the time I'm getting online? and this
Yes.
is- Okay.
Yes, so there'll be a schedule that is sent to the family, so it's very consistent and they know what to expect each day.
So what is the time? And when does the morning start and end?
So our regular day starts at, well, every school at 8. At the elementary, it ends at 8:25.
11:25.
Oh, 11:25, and
I was like,
then
man, we're really
1,
quick.
yeah, and then 1
hybrid
o'clock
schedule.
to 3:25. Yes, that's right. So 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock to 3:25.
So the afternoons aren't getting as much time.
So the afternoon is.
I don't have the times in front of me.
Is it
which
12?
12:40 to 3:40, Jen.
You had your 15 minutes, you didn't have your 15 minutes.
I didn't have my 15 minutes. So it would be, I'm sorry. The kids actually come at 11:40 and stay till 3:40. Sorry, that is the truth. 11:40 to 3:40. And then the middle school schedule, yeah, I'm gonna have to give you that a little bit later, but they're 3 hours. 3 hours. So the state is, because we're adding those 15 minutes, and we usually go to school 6.66 hours a day. We are rounding that now to 7 hours a day that we need to work. So because we have this 3-hour schedule where we're doing instruction at school and then we're transporting them home, there's gonna be a 4-hour section at home. But that also will include some exercise time and some music activities, things like that. So for the middle school, of course, that looks different than the high school. Those will be set up by those teachers.
So did you mean the afternoon is 12:40 to 3:40?
It's 8 to 11 and then 12:40 to 3:40.
Yes, 3 hours on each side.
The middle school, I have the middle school in front of me, sorry, we should have pulled these up for you guys, I apologize. Middle school is 8 to 11:02 in the mornings, and then the afternoons is 12:23 to 3:25.
12:23.
12:23.
Yeah,
Yes.
seriously.
Yep, we had to get creative.
So where was the 15?
And then, let me pull up high school real quick, I apologize.
So are we putting the teachers' planning time into with their break, lunch break? Okay.
That'll be part of it, yes. Yep. And that looks a little different on elementary versus secondary, just because of the class changes and all that.
So on the food service side, I'm looking at, it says AM students 7:50 to 8:10. Breakfast will be served, but we're starting school at 8.
Yes, so they will take their breakfast to the classroom. Wendy, I don't know if you want to expand on that, but because we are not using our lunchrooms this year as a mass gathering, they will take their meal to the classroom and they will start eating as the day gets started.
And that's the same for lunch.
Yes, they will take it back to their classrooms they will get a grab and go meal, prepackaged grab and go meal, take it back to their, now the afternoon group, as they're leaving, will grab a lunch to take home. The entering group will come in and eat in the classroom like the breakfast, like the morning food did for breakfast.
So at 11, the kids will take their lunch and leave.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so
Where are we sharing that information? Was that all included in the letter that we sent?
The lunch information isn't, the health guidelines are included in the letter, as well as the times that they'll be at school. And the rest of the information, Shelby's sharing.
I think we'll put together FAQs for lunch, health guidelines, like separate them out just so that they're in different, so that'll all come up and we put on the website. We did send the health stuff in the letter just because that was, the mask stuff and, but the lunch stuff, there's still some details being worked out with some of that. So we'll get all that up on the website, probably just separate it out so that, it's all there, but easy to read.
All students will have access to a breakfast and lunch, even the afternoon students, they can take home a breakfast potentially. And then your remote students, kind of how we did in the spring, there would be a pickup spot for breakfast and lunch if parents wanted to come and do that, or whomever.
I just know that I heard a lot of confusion about the lunch. If you can bring your lunch, you can't bring your lunch. But you don't need to bring your lunch. But can we send out like the text alert that says to go to the website for lunch details? Because
sure.
Not everyone goes to the website.
We'll send out like all of that stuff. It's just, it's not all, the details are still just, I know we're kind of waiting on, we're just waiting on a couple of things before we can really, but before school starts, it will all be there. And I'll send text alerts out to direct people to the
I have the high
website.
school schedule.
Okay.
8 to 11:10, and then 12:10 to 3:20.
When's the next meeting with their health department?
The 16th, which is the Wednesday. Since we went into a two-week hybrid, then we have to make a decision that Wednesday to communicate out to our families what the following week will be.
Okay.
And what's the criteria? I know now we're like up to 19 in Southern County. Is what the last I just saw.
Yes.
So what's the number?
Well, I think the health department was.
I didn't know there was.
Yeah, I think that what I heard her say today was that she was. There's multiple gating criterias out now that helps make those decisions. Those also are recommendations and not law by any means. And so I think I heard her say that she was still reviewing those, and that she was also reviewing those from some neighboring counties, and that she found one that she liked that she would be getting out at some point. So for our local county. So yes, my plan is to speak to the health department every Wednesday and communicate out based off of that. If they do put us into multiple weeks, like they did these first couple weeks, then it'll obviously be the Wednesday after. But we will communicate out to the district regardless, each Wednesday.
And we don't always have to follow what they tell the department.
Correct. It has been recommendations from.
Yeah, I know. I just want to make that clear.
Yep.
And when is the first football game?
The 4th, September 4th.
I'm bothered by the send them home with 2 symptoms. Do we have to do that?
That is recommended by KSD and their reopening plans and stuff. So I think that one thing that she said today in that meeting was that if it is proven that a student has a recurring thing such as allergies or something like that, then we could document that and make different decisions for that student on a daily basis so they weren't getting home daily. But it's going to take us a little while to work all those things out as we approach school. So, as we get into school and we learn our kids even better. Normally we don't tackle allergies, every day. So
I kind of asked that last time. She did address that, so just kind of for the record.
Yeah.
If my doctor would send a note that says these are allergies and such and such, so they have
yes.
That would be acceptable.
That would be something we can work with, and our nurses, our 2 school nurses would do a great job with that, trying as we work through that.
So are we going by the thing on the summer health department's website that says just the four symptoms of COVID? Which is fever, dry cough, difficulty breathing, and fatigue? Are we lumping runny noses and everything else into that?
Well, the problem with that is that, and she even said this today too, they, a few weeks ago, they were seeing different symptoms. Now, all of a sudden, people are coming down with diarrhea, and that didn't happen before. So the problem is we're dealing with a disease that is being studied currently, and they don't know a lot about, and may be evolving, and amongst other things. And so it's really difficult. And obviously, all those are flu-type symptoms as well. And if we have a influenza breakout this year, on top of this, then it's it's going to be a tough situation, and we're just going to have to do the best we can for our families.
The nurses did put on when they talked to the health department. I think the nurses letter they sent, they did do the most updated symptoms that right now is what the health department told them. And I can't remember which one was on. And running nose might have been on there. That they may have taken that one off. I updated it on the summary. I think.
It's got 10 of them on there.
Yeah, those are the 10 that the nurses, when they met with the health department, told them to officially put in a plan. So
I know people that have had like 3 or 4 of those symptoms, and so they go get tested.
Yeah.
And they don't have it, and
Sure.
then people have it. I mean, it's just the craziest thing.
I know that.
You know you have it, so you go, and then yes, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just dying or something.
The nice thing for all this is as time evolves here for a little bit, another thing she talked about today was hopefully to have some rapid testing available soon, so that it is not a matter of sending someone home for a period of time. It's more find out right now situation.
And I'd hate to throw that expense back on the parents every time. So is the health department going to foot the bill for this? Even like the doctor's notes, because it can get expensive depending on how your insurance copays and stuff work.
Sure. Yeah. It's not something that we're going to bill the health department for something necessarily. No. I don't think that has not been discussed.
I was surprised to see.
Well, it just seems silly that if they're the ones setting all these regulations, that they would kind of work, they want to set these rules, but then not really support us or support. I don't think it's fair to dump that on the parents.
Yeah, I understand.
As far as the school district.
Yeah, I don't, my feeling for working with health departments, they've been super supportive. She has been very supportive with recommendations. She is, Laura's been great with, but it is recommendations. It's not something that they're not mandating anything on us. That is not the situation at all. So.
City council and county commission.
I'm looking at the website right now, and it still only has 4 symptoms of COVID. I mean, this is the actual.
Yeah.
So.
Could the parent discuss it with our nurse? Like the kid's got allergies.
Sure.
And maybe that could be the end of it right there without involving the doctor. Because I know what he's saying.
Yeah, no, I think our nurses will get to know our kids probably better than ever this year, and they already knew them pretty well before. So.
Yeah, I had it loaded up. I feel like an idiot. I know.
Yeah, I'm sharing with you guys the information I get. I'm an educator, not a public health master. So
I wish, I think Winfield, Raleigh County gives the zip code to where the cases are. And I know nobody wants to know who or where exactly, but it'd be nice if you had a zip code so you knew what area. In fact, these cases are, going to Thunder County or way east or way west, which isn't that far, but still, it'd be nice to know that right here where we are, or.
Yeah, I know that, through the contact tracing that they do, that she had told us in our last meeting that they do know within the community, kind of pockets in the community, and they do track across the community where things are at.
If they could just, it makes the system easier if you know what's in your area.
So the only thing I'd like to mention is maybe on the football. Obviously, after senior night, would it be okay to take a snapshot of the crowd at the first non-senior night game and maybe let us decide, hey, we can fit 2 siblings or something with the groups of families. I don't want to set this in stone for the entire season if there's a chance that we look at it and say, oh, wow, there's more space here than what we thought.
Yep. And even potential with COVID numbers, we can change it with that too. I mean, it's all recommendations based off of what we're feeling. So.
I mean, with the numbers I heard last week, I was ready to open up 100%.
Yeah, the 6 cases.
Yeah, but then, the news tonight, Cedar County has, I think, over 200 from Friday, and ours are up considerably since Friday, so that's a concern, but 7, 8, 9, and they're not going up, well, so it is a week to week, we all know that.
So does that mean we as a board just pick a number? Is that what you're?
No, I'm just saying, no.
If we get 10 cases, if we get 10 cases.
I will. No, it'd be nice if you could, that's what I'm saying, I guess, but you can. So we need a motion to approve the restarting school with the hybrid, is that what?
Yeah, or just the reopening plan, we will add all of these things that we've discussed tonight, if you are, want to keep them the same, into the reopening plan. The information from today's meeting has not been put in there yet, so I want to get that to you first.
Pat, I got one more question.
Sure.
This is out in the additional health and safety precautions, where it says leave doors propped open when possible. Talk about within the building. I mean, I'm worried about this, the security of the building.
It's the opposite.
We can't open the outside.
The opposite of what we've always done is now the thing to do. So, that is something that I don't know that we have. I don't know that we've made big plans to prop all of our doors open or anything like that. I think that would be, and obviously that would be weather related and everything else. So,
I've heard about improve your ventilation. Well, there's only so much you can do right now.
I do know that our maintenance guys
Could maybe change the filters out more often or something.
I'm looking at some specialty filters and some things like that.
But I don't like the idea of propping open the outside doors.
Yeah.
That's
That's
gonna
mainly for the
kill.
test, isn't it? Just for.
We'll have an $80,000 electric bill next month if we.
Think of that.
I know.
Yeah, like I said, that would be obviously a weather issue in the first place, let alone
Well, I
a
remember
safety security
teaching,
issue.
I remember teaching first grade with no air conditioning at Lincoln, with open windows and doors and fighting flies like crazy and having big fans going. And so you're screaming at little kids,
Swatting fly.
and you didn't even have a mask on. So
And that's mainly for the touch, right? I mean, right, that's why we don't need the doors propped, so they're not touching it. Isn't that the reason?
Yeah. no, it's for circulation.
Oh,
Well, and probably touching too. Probably.
On that mass gathering, on the renting,
Yes.
instead of saying that the schools are gonna consult with the Sumner County Health Department, wouldn't it be easier just to say, wait until we get to phase 3? Because, we don't know who's coming in, and that's renting, so it's people outside the school, not people in the school. So wouldn't it be easier to just say, hey, let's wait until phase 3 before we rent out buildings?
Yeah, let's just wait. Let's just wait.
Because we don't know who's coming in.
It would be a huge hassle to rent it out to somebody, then we gotta clean it all up.
Right.
Let's just
So
don't
can
do
we
it
put
for a
that in
while.
there instead?
Yeah, we can reword it.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
What's our next, what's the date of our other next meeting?
2 weeks.
The 14th.
No. Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yes,
Yeah,
September
what's the
14th.
14th?
Yeah, the 14th. Because the 7th is Monday, the
Okay,
first Monday, so it'd be the second Monday, right?
I was probably pulling up the calendar.
Yeah, 14.
It is the 14th. So you're gonna meet with the health department on the 16th. I guess we'll just wait and maybe schedule another meeting then to revisit the 2-week
We
plan.
can, or you guys can put that in my hands and I can communicate with you. So that's really.
If you could maybe push that other meeting up to the.
Can we do that? Are we allowed
Yeah.
to slide our?
Well, you won't have
I
any.
mean, I was thinking of his meeting.
Oh, the health
with the
department.
health
Yeah, that's a good idea.
14th in the morning.
Yeah, I could contact her on the 14th. we're trying to set up a system so that we gave them enough time to watch numbers. You know, that was the whole point of it.
Especially after the weekend, you know?
Yeah.
We'd have to meet on like a Friday,
Yeah.
or he would have to meet on a Friday, and then the weekend would happen.
I think if the board gives me the authority to, you know, to change things as we need to, and if you guys want to meet each time we make that, then obviously that can be your decision.
Well, I'm sure if numbers rose drastically, she would contact you before the 16th.
Probably, yes.
I mean, I'm assuming.
Yeah, sure.
Probably gonna deal with you on September's Labor Day too. That's gonna come up,
Yep,
so it's gonna
that's
look
gonna
like,
come up as well, sure.
you know.
Yep.
I do think it's better. I wanna go full force and I would have bet $100 2 days ago. That's what we were gonna do. But after the numbers now, and, if we start hybrid, then the kids you're gonna get the kinks out of it. It's gonna take at least a week or so. And the kids are gonna know how it works and what they do and their schedule.
Yeah.
And so then when we get to go face to face, everyone,
It'll be
that's gonna
smooth.
be great.
Yeah.
And then if we ever have to switch back to hybrid, it's gonna be a smooth
We'll
transition.
know how to do it.
I'm afraid if we go right now, everybody goes, then in 2 weeks, Labor Day hits and then we're sky high, we go to hybrid. And it'd be like the kids going backwards.
Right.
Because they're gonna have to learn the hybrid and learn all that again, which is gonna kind of put a halt to what they've been doing full time. So that's a little bit of my reasoning too, which is really hard.
One last
19
question.
old County, but still.
Yes.
One last question, Adam. Have you guys come up with a plan of what students are going to go into the AM and what students are going to go into the PM
Yes.
somewhat?
Yes, we have letters out in the mail currently. They should be in tomorrow, the next day, for elementary students that will be receiving a letter that has a lot of information both on the hybrid schedule and also whether they're in the AM group or the PM group. And for our secondary students, middle school and high school students, those will be put on Infinite Campus. They'll be up by tomorrow. Some of them are already up, and then we'll send out alerts that perhaps have everybody get on Infinite Campus and check, and they'll be able to see it then for secondary students. But yes, those have all been decided on the second.
I saw you had the bus students and the kids that come in on buses or in the morning.
Yes.
What'd you do about the kids with extracurricular activities? You put them all in the afternoon?
We tried that, and it did not. It did not work out well. Yeah, it was. We really wanted to get that strategy to try to help our parents out, but it was unsuccessful. It was just too lumped. It lumped things way too heavy on one side, I would say. But the bus situation definitely helps in the morning so that we can support Luke in the evening with activities.
So you might have a kid going to school in the morning and coming back in the afternoon.
Yep.
For-
And really, Larry, the rough thing about hybrid is it's great for the health of the community, or hopefully it's a strategy to help the community, but it is, no matter what hybrid schedule you put together, it's gonna be really tough on parents. It just is, and on all our families, so.
I'm sure we'll look at that. If there's a real extenuating circumstance where it just keeps a kid from doing something, or there's individual cases we might look at.
Yeah, sure.
Always, like,
We've always worked with kids, and we'll continue to try to support people best we can.
I guess I would make a motion based on all the recommendations that were made and those adjustments being made, like you mentioned, that we adopt the reopening plan as presented with those adjustments being made.
And go hybrid.
We're not going hybrid the first 2 weeks.
Well, that is, the reopening plan that was presented is going hybrid for the next 2 weeks.
First 2 weeks.
If I understood correctly.
The person saying to accept the plan as presented, which is going hybrid the first 2 weeks, and all the other changes and sports activities. All in favor, say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thank you very much.
So it's gonna be up there.
I do want to say our teachers were here last week, and they're still here. Let's face it, they're working their tails off, and And we, some of the principals are calling them back in to get some things done that we really need to get done to make sure the buildings are ready and they'll be compensated for that. So, but I just want to say how much we appreciate their hard work and their patience and putting this all together for kids, because they've been amazing.
Flexible, and our principals were amazing
Yes.
figuring out all of the leveling of the AM and PM. They worked for hours and hours on that and did an amazing job. And elementary came back in, stuffed envelopes. It was quite a job.
And Adam, I had worked some crazy hours last week, and I drove by here and I seen her pick up here super early, super late, and I just want to tell you I appreciate the work you've been putting into as well. You've been putting
I
in some
appreciate it. I tell you what,
crazy hours. So.
It is, but it's not just me. It's my team is phenomenal. I mean, they're just amazing people. They pick me up, and I try to pick them up and return the favor. And they don't let you be in a bad mood very long, which is good.
I noticed at Eisenhower and at Lincoln, it was like a school day. There was so many cars there, and it was all the teachers. They were all there.
Yep. Absolutely. They're great. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
Okay, we need to approve the early completers for next year.
Yes. Yes, there's an early completer list that the board approves every year. Students who have worked extra on the side and gotten their credits a little bit early. And typically they have to go outside of their school day in order to do that, take college classes, et cetera, on top of things in order to pull that off mathematically. So we have those students on the list that we gave you that are up for early completion this year and just need a board motion to allow that to happen.
I move that we approve the early computers list presented to the board.
I'll second that.
Second, and accept the list presented for early completers. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. A lot of hard work from the people.
Yes.
And then we need a motion to go into executive session for 30 minutes.
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss non-elected personnel for 30 minutes. Let's do a 3-minute break before, so it'll be resuming a normal meeting. We'll resume at 8:20.
It's been moved and seconded to go into executive session for 30 minutes with a 3-minute break. About 8:20. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
We're staying here.
Yeah, we'll stay.
Good, that's exactly.
Well, that's Adam was trying to give us an idea.
Yeah.
It's provided by Southern
Commercial,
Communications,
if you had them
but
sitting
I
at
don't know
the
how you-
baseball thing, so it's all right there, that whole Sellers Park
So-
deal.
I don't
Now
know,
you can tailgate with a big screen.
I don't know if it's free Wi-Fi,
I'm thinking.
but there's Wi-Fi.
Well, that's all. I think we're ready to adjourn. Anybody have anything
I
else?
got one thing.
Larry?
Perry Wiley, has upgraded the ticket booths on the west side, and now he's done the north side too, so Perry looking for things to do, so I haven't seen the north side, but I guess it was kind of similar to the
Yeah,
west side.
yeah, okay.
He's got it spruced up a little bit.
That's pretty cool.
Maybe give him some tickets to the football games.
Yeah, well, I'm-
Maybe let him in. He's gonna let him in.
And the worst part is when they bring their ticket, then they have to pay, so.
Right.
Yep, it is. Good. Thank you all very much, appreciate it. There it is.
Good job, Pat.
Is it
I am too. I felt bad, because I'm the one looking, not talking about it.